tired. I feel really like low energy today. Ugh.
Really?
Yeah, and I went to the gym yesterday, so I feel sore, which is a good thing. But I feel like I've been like fighting something, like my kids have been sick, like on and off, like really weird. They'll have like a small fever and kind of lethargic for like 24 hours and be fine, and then it comes back like 3 days later. Super weird. And I haven't gotten sick, but I feel like I'm fighting it or trying not to get sick. I don't know. And we've had company. My grandma was here for like 4 days over the weekend. And then my husband's brother and wife are staying with us for a week. So there's just people in our, like, which is totally fine, but it's a lot to have like company and stay on track with goals and stuff. So I think I've done well, but I'm tired.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're tired. Hopefully you don't get full-blown sick either, because
I
I've
know.
heard of a few other people that are sick right now, and I'm like, "Are you sick?"
Yeah. I'm too busy. I can't get sick. It's not allowed.
No, it's not. We're banishing that idea
Yeah.
right now.
I'm too high vibe. Can't touch me. I'm not sick.
I'm too high vibe. Oh my god. That should be a t-shirt. I'm too high vibe to get sick.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, how did the past week go with
Good.
everything? The makeup, the waking up early, the lunches the night before,
Really good.
yoga.
I yeah, I haven't worn makeup at all and just doing my skin routine like when I need it. And only like one I was like it was hard only once to not wear makeup, or like not hard but kind of like okay, I can do this. I don't need to put makeup on, was for my kids' carnival because all the parents are there, the school staff, like it's a big school carnival. And so there's like hundreds of people there. And so yeah, that was like the only time that I didn't like that I was like, okay. I went to Matt. I was like, tell me I'm pretty. Tell me I'm pretty. And it was just for like a minute. I was like, yeah, duh, okay, I'm fine. And I went and I was fine. I felt okay there. Granted, it was like outside, so I wore sunglasses, which covered half my face anyway. But I felt fine. And I went to work and I did all my meetings and everything with nothing on my face. So it was good. It was like, and I liked that, um, like, I feel the biggest benefit was not having to like take that time to do my makeup. Like, I felt like I didn't have to like set a big block to get ready for something. I just get dressed, brush my hair, brush my teeth. That's it. It just took, even if it takes like 10-15 minutes just to do my makeup, it was still like felt significant with like getting ready. It was like one less thing I had to worry about. Like, so it was easier to like find motivation to do things or go out and not have to like get all done up. So yeah, it was really good in that aspect. And the kids' lunches, that was all good. I kind of prepped the night before. And a couple of days I didn't, which was fine, and I didn't feel rushed in the morning.
Mm.
But I did hit snooze on my alarms, and I think because I've had company, I've been staying up a little bit to visit. Like I haven't been going to bed early, and I've felt it in the morning. So I was like, I've just been so tired. I feel like I'm tired today, and like, yeah, I feel like I'm trying to like fight something. Like, so I feel, I don't know, tired. And today, because nobody eats healthy, my grandma, when she was staying, ooh, I have a sneeze. It's gonna come. I hate that.
I hate when it doesn't come.
Yeah. And we went to Costco and she got like chocolate covered pretzels that are pumpkin spice, all this stuff, macaroons. And I didn't like eat anything. I usually don't even have it in my house. Like, And I'm not like a big sugar person, so it was fine. And but today, yesterday I had a big sugar craving, which is like, and I'm like wondering if it's like maybe where I am on my cycle. Like it just felt like abnormally, like, why am I craving sugar? I don't really crave sugar. I don't know. So I had some like little cookies or whatever, and it was fine. I'm not like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, trying not to feel bad about having it. And then I've gained a couple pounds. I mean, and it goes like this anyway, it's like weight is normal. So I'm trying not to like go back to how I was and like stay on my upward trajectory of like eating clean and stuff. So that's like kind of getting back on track. And I'm like trying to be kind to myself. It was literally one night and I had like a handful of cookies. I don't know why it's such a big deal, because I almost like don't think about all my progress in the week and how I didn't eat anything and I ate really clean and healthy and stuff like that. I didn't have any coffee. I had like a couple of teas, but sweetened it with honey, and like no bread. I ate really good. So I'm like, I shouldn't like forget that because I just had some cookies. So I think, I don't know, being like kinder to myself this upcoming week maybe is a goal, and not being like so in my head about it. Or I say that I'm like, oh, it's fine. And then also kind of feel guilty, like in my head, like I don't really want to have that guilt. Like, you didn't gain 2 pounds because you ate 10 cookies. It's like, or not 10 pounds, but 2 pounds. So it's like, I don't know, having like a thing with weight. I think it's just a fear of gaining it back and losing progress. Like, it's not just 2 pounds. It's like, oh, that's 2 pounds. It's going to turn into 3 pounds and 4 pounds and 5 pounds. And then I'm going to gain back the 10 pounds that I just lost. So I feel like I'm kind of projecting in that sense. So I don't know. Yeah, I did good, but I'm also like in my head about the one moment where I didn't. And in the moment while I'm like eating something like a cookie, I feel fine about it. Like in the moment, like I check in with myself. I'm like, okay, I want to eat this. I don't know, but maybe I've like, it's like a moment of weakness because it is from a craving, like, oh, I'm craving something sweet, I want to eat this, and not from like, oh, I'm not really craving anything, but I'm just gonna have a couple cookies. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like trying to figure that out or whatever, how to navigate it. I don't know. And then what else was on my thing? I did not do yoga at all. And I was like, I didn't like wake up. I hit snooze. And I think it is because I have company, and like my kids slept with me and they were sick. So I didn't wake up early, like, because I didn't want to wake them up. Yeah. And I looked up my doshas and when I should like be waking up. And it's between like 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh my gosh. What the heck? Can I do that? That's crazy. I feel like that's so early to me, but I think it's a goal. I feel like when I do wake up early, I feel like I get things done. Like, it's like, wow, my day was filled, Right now I get up at like 7:15, 7:30, which isn't like bad, but so like 6 o'clock isn't that far away. Even like 6:30, so maybe this week trying like setting my alarm. It's even hard to set an alarm because I'm like, I'm gonna wake up and have to hit snooze and then try and fall back asleep again. Like, I don't like even just setting it, but I think this week I want to set my alarm for 6:30, so I wake up at 7. Then maybe next week set it for 6, wake up at 6:30 and see how I feel. I've never been a morning person. And even when I was a kid, or if I don't get enough sleep, I get physically ill. Like, I'll throw up if I don't sleep enough. I used to like when I had to go to school, and we lived far away, and I'd catch the school bus, and it's still dark out, so we had to like wake up really early. And I remember throwing up at the bus stop just because I didn't get sleep. Yeah. So I think from that too, like maybe in my head, I'm like, no, I need to get sleep. I'm gonna feel sick. So I kind of have to like slowly get over that mindset and kind of not feeling well, and go to bed earlier. But with people at my house, it's so hard because I like games and that's our time to visit. So it's like, it's always a little bit harder to like go to bed and wake up early when there's people. So
Mm.
that'll be a challenge. I kind of just want to challenge myself and like not wait for them to leave, like, oh, I'll start my waking up early when they're gone, or going to bed when they're gone. I kind of want to challenge myself and go to bed even if they're still awake while they're here this week. So we'll see how I do. Like in bed at like I'll give myself 9:30 because they'll stay up till like 1 probably.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll stay up late because they're on vacation too. So it's like, oh, we'll stay up, like, and I'm like, oh, I have responsibilities, and I've never like, and that's kind of new for me, having like working more, having more responsibilities, the kids having to wake up and get ready to go to school. So it's all a bit different. So I haven't really had guests in my house with my new schedule, and needing to do those things and take care of myself and go to bed so that I feel good the next day. So that's one of my goals this week is to go to bed early, even though nobody else is. And I used to have really bad FOMO, like fear of missing out. Like, I'm like, I can't go to bed. I'm going to miss something. And I think now I'm like, I'm okay. It's like, nah, it's fine. I can go to bed. You guys have fun. But so that's a goal this week too. Let's see. So yeah, I think I got to all my goals this week. Yeah. That's my bleh.
Yeah, well, that's good though that you were able to stick with some of them. And you
Mhm.
had a lot anyway, so I mean, and
Yeah,
company and yeah, so
exactly.
that's totally understandable.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, there are some phases of the cycle where we crave sugar, and if you
Mhm.
have a virus, even if you're
Mhm.
not sick, if it's in there, that can help have you crave sugar too.
That makes sense because that's kinda what it feels like, and I'm not feeling good, like, and then I was like, "This is out of the normal." I usually don't crave sugar like that. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That might not be your fault. I
Yeah.
think, like,
Same.
viruses definitely feed off sugar, so they
Mhm.
will, like, make you want 'em, and then
Okay.
also, like, if your opportunistic bacteria in your
Mm,
body are, like, out of whack, they'll make you want sugar too, because 'cause they're, like they
mhm.
behave well until, like, something is off, and
Yeah,
then they
like candida and
yeah,
that stuff, yeah. Freaking candida.
I know. It's maybe not all you.
Yeah, thanks. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is there, any little, like, nuggets of wisdom or learning from the past week that you wanna remember going forward?
Um, I don't know. I think that I still got everything done without having to wake up early.
Mm.
Or like, right at my like, it's like, "Oh, if I don't do this, I'll, like, won't get all my stuff done." But I still stuck to my list, and I even got more done than I had even planned to get done. So that was kind of reassuring, like, it's not all because like, I didn't beat myself up so much that I snoozed, hit snooze once because I still got everything done and didn't feel rushed in the morning because I think I planned the night before. So it's like kind of a give and take. Like I can sleep in a little bit if I plan the night before, or if I don't plan the night before, then wake up on time. It's not like one thing kind of determining it all. I guess. And the fact that, and with the makeup, not having to put that in my schedule. Like it's a lot more chill, less stressful when I don't have to wear makeup. So I want that's something that I kind of want to remember. That I don't need it and it's actually helpful and less stressful.
That's a really cool realization.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I like that. And what's on your heart to talk about today for this session?
Let's see. I feel like I always try and think about this before we start our session and then it like disappears. I'm like, I feel like I came up with something. I like food and being accommodating to guests. And yesterday I checked myself. I had a session with Jenny and I was talking about how our guest, she likes to cook and she was making like pasta and breaded chicken or whatever. And so I was like, "Oh, it's fine. Like I'll eat that, if you're going to make it." Like I feel bad if someone's making food for you like in your house to like not eat it. And I'm like, why do I feel bad? I'm thinking about like their feelings. And she would literally be okay if I'm like, oh, I'm eating this instead, like, because everybody else is going to eat it, but it was that habit of saying, no, that's fine. Like, whatever, I'll just eat it. And then after like kind of processing, I was like, that's a habit. And now I keep thinking about dinner because I don't really want to eat that for dinner. So I went back and we went to the grocery store. I was like, I'm actually just going to I'll make my own kind of pasta if we do like gluten-free or rice noodles instead, or chickpea or whatever. And you guys can do whatever you regularly do. And I'll just eat chicken, but not breaded or what, I was like, so kind of making my own modifications to it, but also taking part in the meal. And she actually made the meal completely different, like did a different type of flour and cauliflower breadcrumbs and rice noodles and stuff. So that was really nice. I feel bad it didn't like turn out as good for them. I was like, I really want to just eat like my own thing, but it was really sweet that like she tried, like made it and everybody ate it and it was totally fine. And they're like, oh, it's not that much different than like eating it regularly. And she was like, I didn't notice how actually kind of unhealthy I was eating, like when I thought it was healthy, but buying healthier ingredients, like kind of opened my eyes to what I'm actually buying. And I talked to her about some ingredients and stuff and what I won't eat, like bleached wheat flour or modified cornstarch, like stuff like that, that I won't ever compromise on. And so I think that was really cool that once I was like kind of more not accommodating and just kind of being myself and what I want to eat, that it actually helped them more. Like with realizing like maybe food changes that they want to make or try things differently. So yeah, that was cool. So that's kind of, been on my heart where I'm trying to really change that habit of being accommodating and just going with the flow and not sticking to like, this is what I'm eating, And people really, I mean, like, they wouldn't be offended, if I didn't eat their food. It's like, so I need to get rid of that like limiting, I don't know, belief or thought that I have that people are going to care if you don't eat what you make. They really are fine if you're just, let them know. So, and maybe they'll even try it and learn something. So, which is what happened. So, yeah, that was cool. So, I just want to kind of check myself as the week goes on, and stick to what I want to eat and not just being in the habit of eating what everybody else is eating for the sake of, I don't know, being easy, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to focus on Let me read what I wrote here.
Mhm, mhm.
My laptop needs to be plugged in. Sorry, that just totally
Oh, it's
distracted
okay.
me. I knew that was going to happen. I had an intuitive feeling earlier and I ignored it.
I got the same one, but I didn't ignore it. I plugged mine in like an hour ago. I was like, I gotta plug it in. It's gonna die.
Oh my gosh. That's good you didn't ignore it.
Yeah, we must have been on the same, like, okay, plug in your laptop. Like, do it.
Out there in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can totally work on that. So what I'm hearing is kind of like sticking to what you want to eat, even around
Mhm,
guests and when other people are cooking.
mhm.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. And what makes it important to you to work on that topic?
I think like I think it's important because it's everybody wants to be healthier. And it's like these food addictions and the like easy cooking or kind of lazy cooking, I guess. It's just easy. So everybody kind of falls back into it. So I think it's important, one, to be kind of a role model and to cook and think about your food and eat it because I think that helps others, but also to show up for myself and the goals that I set for myself. And I feel better when I eat healthier. So I want to stick with that and not change it just because people are around.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. And what is your ideal outcome from the session?
Um, it kind of already happened, I guess, like coming to a like new goals for the week, like as we talk and kind of what we just talked about, like, because I was like, oh, what am I going to work on like this week? Kind of add to it or yada yada. So yeah, I like the even just like talking about what's on my heart and the food thing because I had thought about it and then it was out of my head, like, my kind of thing that I really want to notice and that habit. And so us talking and just having that on my goals as changing my habit um, is what I want to take. Just remembering that that's my goal, not just for the week, but always. But
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, totally.
And it's hard
When
because
you
none of my friends or family eat that way, like that I hang out with most of the time. So I think that's what's been difficult, and I know like Jenny and you and everyone in like those couple of groups eat that way. So it's always nice, like getting together or like tonight at your party. Like I don't even have to worry about that or tomorrow at your party. And I'm like, oh, there's going to be great food. And I don't have to worry about like picking and choosing or bringing my, just for me to eat. But the people that I'm around most of the time don't eat like that. So it's always me. And I feel kind of like alone and food brings people together and like talking about the food, and I'm always been like not in that conversation or eating the same thing. Um, and so for the sake of wanting to like feel that kind of community around food, I've always just kind of gone into the habit of, oh, I'll just eat it, sometimes. So yeah, I think that's like kind of the one of the difficulties of it is that I'm the only one. Um, but yeah, that's okay. And maybe me doing it more will kind of challenge other people to kind of maybe swap a couple things or think about their food or meet a goal that they haven't been able to do. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely I could see that being very inspiring for other people,
Hmm.
especially if, like, you make it and they taste it and they're like, "Wow, that was way better than I thought it was gonna be."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay. Sorry, my son walked in.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so I'm curious, like, do you find it harder to stick to your food goals like when people are in your home? Or is it more of like when you're out and about,
Ooh.
like a
When
party?
I think when I'm out and about, I can usually pick and choose things. It's probably when I go to somebody's house because I have to like take my own food. I think that's the hardest because I kind of have to plan ahead and make it before I go somewhere. In my house, it's still kind of hard because they bring their own food into the house, but I at least still have my food here. So I can always choose something kind of easily. But going to like friends' houses for dinner and stuff like that, I think is more difficult because I kind of have to make my own dinner and then go over there. And we actually like stopped kind of doing friends, like dinner with friends for a bit because I don't eat that food. So I'm like, I don't know. It's not as like, hey, come over for dinner, even though you're not going to eat our food. So it's like we just don't really do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. So it's like when you're out of your home environment, it's more tough.
Yeah. And I think, well, it might be, I mean, it's still pretty tough when people are also here because they'll order food in and it like smells so good, or they cook like she makes like homemade enchiladas, but it's like so much cheese and like corn tortilla, it's all, and it looks good and it smells good and it's like spicy and homemade. So yeah, that's that's hard to, maybe when it's in my house. Maybe that one's more difficult actually by a little bit. Yeah, probably in my space because I feel like I get to control my space and what comes in, so there's no like kind of cravings or anything like that. And when you're like, I don't know, when I'm eating really clean, I really don't crave stuff. But it
Mm.
also helps if you do get that, like you're on your period and I just want like some chocolate, just a little bit of chocolate or something. It doesn't have to be like in my house, but if I am having like a little weakness where I want some like a little sweet something and people are here and they brought a lot of sweet somethings, then it's hard to kind of like stop because I stop it like it doesn't even come into my house, so I don't even have to worry about it. So yeah, I think it's definitely harder when people are here actually in my space.
Mm. Okay. So it's harder when other people are in your space.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And would you say it's more often people being in your space than you going to other people's?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of depends on the time of year, actually. I don't
Mm.
like hosting, and I think because I eat so differently and I don't have things in my house and I don't drink alcohol, and all our friends like have literally cabinets of alcohol, like that's what they like to do is drink and stuff. My house isn't very fun for people to come to, you know, so I actually don't host a lot. So I guess I'm going to people's houses more, especially around holidays or Halloween parties, and I just won't go. Like a friend this past week uh invited me over and I saw in her story they had like Halloween drinks and they were like bright green and foaming and all this stuff, and I wouldn't drink that. So I just didn't go. Like there was nothing there that I would eat. And yeah. So I guess I go to people's houses more than they come into mine. And the people that do come into mine are mostly family, like when they come to visit. So it doesn't happen very often, which is nice. So it's more difficult when they're in my space, but it doesn't happen as often as when as going to someone's house.
Mm. Okay. What could make it easier to like stay with your food goals, whether in your space or somebody else's space?
Mm. I think just like if I sticking to like eating, like healthy. I really don't like crave anything. And it's kind of that momentum to keep eating it, like it's easier to say no. So it's like usually I'm totally fine. Like, oh, I'm not gonna eat that. I could say no to like everything. But like even yesterday, like that little weakness of like, I'm craving sugar. What the hell is this? Like, and there's so much sugar in my house. And then sugar makes you want to eat more sugar. And then it's just this like, spiral that I don't want to be on. Um, so yeah, I forgot the question. I'm like, wait, what was I talking about?
No, that's okay. You had a great answer.
Okay.
I asked what would make it easier to stay with your food goals in
Mm,
your space and other people's spaces.
yeah, just being consistent when I am by myself, because that's, yeah, builds the momentum and I say no easier. I don't crave anything.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. That's good. That's great awareness. That
Yeah.
like
And
just
you have stuff like available for me to eat. Like if I run out of my kind of food, and I'm like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store and I didn't make it to the grocery store and all there is their food, that's like a no-no. So I try to always like have my food, before it runs out. So I'm never like kind of without, so that other things, easier options, aren't chosen. I have my stuff. So that's a big one too.
Mm, okay. Yeah, that's good. Keeping your food stocked and just like being consistent with the healthy eating because you don't have those cravings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so good. How has it been? I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think. How has it been with the food that your partner's been getting? And like, is that going
Okay.
well?
Yeah, he's fine. He does like it's not really like it would be nice like if he ate like me and also went to the grocery store kind of with it like and knew what else to buy because I feel like I just kind of do it myself a bit, which is okay. And I do most of the like all of the grocery shopping. Or we do it together. But I feel like it's okay. I don't feel like it's hindering me. I feel like it would be cool if he ate that way. I'm like, hey, any other recipes or what do you like that we could both, just that other kind of like mind going on and cooking together food that we're both going to eat. And he eats pretty well. Like if he'll eat what I eat. If I make healthy stuff, the kids and him eat it. But he'll
Good.
also snack a lot, like unhealthy. He has just like unhealthy snacks and stuff like that that he eats. And I've been okay. Like I haven't wanted to snack with him or anything. So I think that it's been okay that he eats how he's eating. And when he's ready to eat healthier, I have all the stuff for him in the house. So I've just kind of put it on him and not taken it on emotionally that he's not eating the way I am and not going to make him feel bad about it.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely like an improvement
Mhm.
from a couple weeks ago, talking about like
Yeah.
detaching from that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
you're not feeling tempted by the stuff that he's eating as much.
Yeah. Mhm. Exactly. Yeah, he's gone through a couple drive-throughs and I just don't get anything. I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." Like, so yeah, it's been fine. It's been okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And so even when people are over, what could help you like stay consistent with those food goals now that you know that that's like the biggest thing that helps you?
Mhm. I think just like I did yesterday where I kinda checked myself and I communicated to them what I'm gonna eat and kind of left it to them if they want to eat it too, or given like options. Like I'm also making dinner like on a couple of nights, and they're like healthier things. So being more in control. of the dinners and communicating when they're cooking something and I can't, eat it, and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna make this instead." Or if you could like set this aside and I'll just mix my own sauces with it. So I think just communicating what I'm gonna
Mm,
eat and not
okay.
eat.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just feeling bad that they're making us dinner and I'm not gonna eat it. It's just that hospitality thing, or someone's putting, work and creating a meal, even if it's not healthy, and then to not eat it. Like that's what I want to get over. Like it's okay to not eat it. Like you can still be grateful that they cooked food and it's feeding the other people in your house. You just don't have to eat it. Or yeah. So yeah, kind of getting out of that habit.
Yeah. And what would you say is like the biggest thing that makes you feel tempted to eat the other food that people make?
Mm, I think when it's like a complex meal, if that makes sense. Like I can easily say no to mac and cheese or, like that's not very like tempting to my palate anyway. But like if it's like this, like when she does make her like enchiladas and it's like crock pot chicken cooked like for a couple of hours and it's like more work goes into it, I think more of a thoughtful food. That's when it's like more difficult. Like when it's like uh I don't know, like a more traditional kind of loving meal because the vibe feels okay, like thought went into it, intention, like it's gonna be good. It's not just lazily thrown together. This is what's for dinner tonight. Like I took it out of a package. I think that's probably the most difficult thing. It's like that because I like pick up on like vibes a lot, you know And so it's like when you could feel the thought or love that goes into a meal, and sometimes that almost like evens the scales where it's like energetically, it's kind of a little better now because, it's like a recipe that was passed down or a lot of work went into it. It's still fresh ingredients, even though they smothered it in cheese afterwards. But it's still, I think that's like the difficult part when it's like, yeah, like a complex, I don't know, loving meal, even though it's not healthy, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, like if like your grandma went out and picked apples and or berries or whatever with her hands and came in and made an apple pie, with wheat flour, like, eggs, stuff that you wouldn't, lots of sugar, but it's still she made the dough and it's all from scratch. So it's like, it feels good though. It's like a warm hug, and she put effort and love into it, even though it's not healthy. So that's kind of like a hard balance, I think. And where I find trouble, like they really like put time into making the meal. That's where I find it difficult. If they don't really put time into it or they order out, I really don't care. I'm not like energetically like attached to it. There's not really a thought or like love that goes into it. So the times where it's like a little more difficult not to eat is when it's like a production like meal. So yeah, that would be the big one, I think.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do
Mhm.
you feel like there could be a way you could give that love and energy back to them even without eating the food?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, even in just like being grateful for the food or like, wow, that looks beautiful. It smells so good. You put so much work into it, like acknowledging their effort,
Mm.
without having to consume it, I think would be helpful. And yeah, showing that you appreciate it without having to eat it. Just showing your appreciation, I guess.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that question. I like that.
Yeah, because it makes total sense. You're feeling on an energetic level that it's unbalanced.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly, so yeah, how do you balance it again without having to eat it? But yeah, that makes total sense. Just to give that energetic love back without having to eat it.
Yeah, totally. Are
Mhm.
there any other ways you can think of to give back
Maybe,
to
I
nature?
guess, cooking for them, even though I don't eat it, maybe I can make something. And if they don't wanna eat it, they don't have to, but I'm still also putting in effort to a meal that they could eat. So also kinda doing the same thing in return.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And then,
Mhm.
like, it's a way to just, like, sneak the healthy food in there.
Yeah.
Be like, "Check out how good these vegan blueberry muffins are. You would never guess
Exactly.
it."
I think they're even better, they're so good.
And no dairy stomachache afterwards.
Yeah, oh my gosh, downtown, I can't remember what the restaurant is, but they make vegan pie, and it's the best pie I've ever had. It's like thick crust. It's just like so good. I haven't had it, like the last time I had it was before COVID, I think. So it's been like a couple of years, but I need to go get some because I literally dream about that pie. It's so good. It's this
It's
cute little hole in the wall down in Boise. I don't remember what it's called though, but it's a vegan restaurant. They have like a vegan scramble. It's like I almost want to say like it's a brunch place and dinner or like maybe lunch. I don't know. I can't remember.
Is
How-
it the High Note Cafe?
Maybe because
'Cause
I've
that's
been
all
there.
vegan, and it's a
Yeah,
whole
I think it is. I think it is the High Note Cafe.
they have
They
pies?
Yeah, their pie. I think that they sell out pretty quickly. Like, you kind of have to, like, get it. I don't think it lasts there all day because people buy it. Because 'cause I've gone and they just didn't have any pie left. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the High Note Cafe. Yeah,
Mhm.
delicious pie. So good.
That's really cool. I gotta
Mhm.
check that out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
recommend it.
that's awesome. Now I want pie.
Yeah.
It sounds so good right now. Well, we have about 15 minutes left. Is there more that you wanna talk through, or do you
Um,
feel okay with some closing questions?
we can do closing questions. I feel complete. I feel like we got to a lot, so.
Okay, perfect. What is the most useful thing from today that you wanna remember going forward?
Oh gosh. I have to pick one? Um, oh my gosh. I can't even remember. I feel like I have brain fog today really bad too. Like I feel tired, I have brain fog. Um, I can't remember. Um, what did we talk about? I guess, yeah, kind of the energy exchange. I think too, like what I can do um instead of eating their food in return. I hadn't like really thought about that, but so yeah, I think that was really helpful.
Good. Yeah, hopefully, like, eradicating that guilt will help with, like,
Yeah,
that momentum of the consistency of the food goals.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I hope so. I think I'll be good.
Anything new you learned about your situation?
Um, yes, and I can't remember. I'm so glad you take notes. Um, even yeah, with the energy exchange, what did we talk about before that? I feel like I've talked about a lot.
Let's see. We talked about cooking for them in exchange or just verbal acknowledgement. And
Mhm.
you notice that the biggest thing that tempts you to eat other people's foods is when it's like thoughtful, complex meal made from
Mhm.
scratch.
Mhm.
And then also, like you mentioned, what can help you stay consistent with the food goals, even around others, is like checking in with yourself and kind of communicating that like food boundary and
Yeah.
trying to be more in control of the dinners or making food for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what was your question?
Um, Anything new you learned about your situation?
I think kind of all of that actually. Yeah, some like I guess new perspectives, like what I can do and why I feel that way is
Mm,
that it's it's really the effort that they're putting into the meal, not necessarily what they're making. So a kind of realization, like it's not just that like I want to eat what they're making or don't want to eat it, but it's really the effort and time that they're putting into it, not just how good it looks or whatever. That is like making me feel like I should eat it. So that was kind of a realization too, a bit more added on to what I was already feeling. So yeah, that was helpful.
that's good. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
interesting to learn it's like not necessarily a physical craving, but more
Yeah.
a mindset thing. Wow,
Yeah,
very interesting.
exactly.
Anything new you learned about yourself?
Um, that I'm like still have a lot of like those habits of like people pleasing, I
Mm,
think. Like that I need to be okay with not feeling anymore. Cause it's all yeah, it's more like I don't know, especially like if my like grandma cooks something, I have that feeling that doesn't feel good. Like I feel bad for not eating her food, and
mm,
I think it's just rooted in like, yeah, people pleasing or that energetic exchange that we talked about. That I didn't really think about it in an energetic exchange until I like said it out loud, I guess.
yeah, I wonder I wonder if it's, like, happening in other life areas, like, just noticing that energetic exchange.
Yeah, yeah, I'll try and like, yeah, keep that in mind more as I move throughout my day, like, navigating things. And do I do this because I'm, kind of exchange giving back or feel that I need to receive it or, and what, yeah, other aspects. And yeah, when am I like compromising myself for other people because I don't want to like stick to my goal, or it takes
Mm,
away from my goal just to be easy, just because it's easier. Don't want to like ruffle feathers or like make someone else's day go a different way, like going to the gym or whatever. Like, oh, I want to get this work done and I want to go to the gym there, at that time. And then my friend, oh, it works better for me to go at this time. Can you do your work later? And I usually do that. I'm usually flowy and I kind of change just to like because. And then, yeah, so I think that's one incident that I kind of people please too. So I think that'll be another goal maybe like this week and on is kind of like to see if I do that and like just sticking with that. And I think the fear is like not being liked or being difficult so people won't want to go to the gym with you because it's never when they want to go to the gym. I feel like I'm nicer. I feel like I'm like nice, so I like understand and I'm not gonna like not like someone or not go to the gym because it's never when I want to go to the gym. But I also kind of want that in return, you know?
mm.
So it's almost like if you don't put it out there, it's like, are they not gonna like me because I don't like to be accommodating? So that's like a, legit fear kind of, I think, that's underlying beneath, you know, everything is not being liked
Mm.
for like not being accommodating.
Oh, interesting. A lot of people feel that way as well. I can
Yeah.
relate to that.
Mhm.
If there was kind of like a story under there or a belief, what do you think
Mhm.
it would be?
Um, I think probably like stems from trauma probably in my life. Like being the oldest, I was always kind of the one to be like kind of take charge. Or people would ask me, like families, like, you're really good at planning. Can you plan? And then I would plan or I would do something and they'd be like, wow, it's really all about you. And then I'm like, no, I chose this because you guys like it. It's nobody really saw from my perspective and they just saw it as selfish, even though they asked me to do it. So I think after that happened like a few times, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm not, so that no one thinks I'm selfish because I'm really doing it for like everybody. I'm just good at seeing all perspectives. And that's why I chose it. Like most people like this restaurant as opposed to that one. I wouldn't have chosen it, but people are like, oh, you just chose this restaurant because you like it, you know? So it's like, I think that, and that's one reason I moved away from home too. It was like all this pressure, but also like negativity towards me for planning when so I think underlining that's kind of like scarred me a bit. And I don't want to like ruffle feathers because I'll be selfish or people won't like me or I'll be like bitchy or taking over when that's not my intention. So I think it
Mm,
really like, and that, those few instances like hurt me to where now I'm like scared to like say my opinion. And I feel like I've kind of like grown out of that a bit. Like it's fine. I know I'm not like that. And people that appreciate that about me or that I'm good at planning or seeing the bigger picture on things will see that in me and not think that it's just me being selfish.
mm,
But so I feel like I've like worked on it a lot, but it's probably even just when it comes out in like not eating other people's food, there's still that kind of underlying like trauma where I didn't want to like do something or plan something differently and, you know, was kind of accused wrongly for it. So I think that's kind of tied in there a bit. I'm sure there's more instances, but yeah, probably that at its
mm.
core.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, definitely. I feel like boundaries and people pleasing can show up in so many different ways. But you're
Mhm.
doing really good. You're starting to set these boundaries for yourself and communicate. Like
Mhm.
that's so good. And maybe over time as you keep doing it, you'll see that people like Jenny are like, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Mhm.
totally like not gonna be mad at you because you're like advocating for what you want. Like
Yeah.
being a restaurant because you like it. I mean, that's really not a bad thing. What?
Right? I know, yeah.
I'm sure that other people will like something on the menu, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so what do you want the new story to be going forward around that?
Um, I guess being like yeah, like liked and admired and okay with being like flowy sometimes because and even when I'm not being looked at like I'm being bossy or it's my way. Like I guess just to like have it received with kindness and understanding, like, like how it should be. Like it's not even a big deal. It should just be like, "Oh, that's fine." but I felt like nobody really did that for me. It was always me being accommodating, and if I wasn't, then it's like, what the hell, or not being heard, like in my family and stuff like that. So I guess would just be to be heard, I guess, and cared for too, and accommodated to as well. Sometimes, like, it's a give and take, you know? So yeah, just easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Being able to communicate and have it received with kindness and
Yeah.
understanding for people to accommodate to you
Mhm.
instead of just the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's
Yeah,
interesting
and
how
oh, sorry.
oh, no,
I've
you go.
definitely, like I've definitely found it in people here, you know, since moving away from, like, my family, and my family's grown a lot. But definitely it's been really nice here with, like, you or Jenny, and, like, all my, like, new friends and stuff
Mm,
definitely are more nicer, and like, not just, it's like a kind and understanding. So it's been very, like, healing, but there's still that underlying deep-rooted issues to kind of overcome and rewrite from being at home and, like, childhood and stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah, that's really good too to,
Mhm.
like, have social proof. Like, yeah, other people are okay with this. Like,
Yeah.
I always want people to be selfish, like canceling last minute or I don't know. I just feel like
Mhm.
we should all lessen self-betray for love
Yeah.
personally because it's been like viewed as selfish, but it's like we deserve to have our needs met.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I've, like and yeah, I feel the same way. Like, if you 'cause I've had people like, "Oh, I can't make it," or whatever. I'm like, "Totally fine." Or, "I'm not feeling that well. I feel like I just need to, like, rest today." It's never gonna be like, "What?" Or, "We can't reschedule. Sorry, you missed it." Like, I don't know. You can't, like just, like, totally. It's like and it gives, like, others permission or myself to do that as well. It's like, "No, it's totally fine. Good for you for
Mhm.
communicating and not making up something like, 'Oh, I'm sick,' or 'Oh, I got a flat tire.'" Like, just being, like, honest about how you're feeling and, yeah, true to yourself. So I agree. And so, like, yeah, doing that also shows other that you can do that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
totally.
totally. And to touch on your energetic point earlier too, it's almost like, people like do something for you, like make a meal and you're like, "Oh, thank you, but like I'm gonna eat something else." And then if they try to shoot you with like, negative energy or like making you feel bad, it's like you could literally like almost like set up like a bubble, like
Yeah.
verbally and be like, "I'm not gonna accept your
Yeah.
well, like, coming into my energy field, like, that's on them, how
Yeah.
they react emotionally. That is, like something is triggering them, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
personal.
Exactly. Yep, totally. Mm.
Okay, I know we're 1 minute over, so
Yeah.
I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
This was really interesting. I liked how you kinda, like, went into some deeper layers. Hopefully,
Yeah.
that was
No, that
was
yeah,
helpful.
good. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and how about feeling like you wanna commit to an action plan for the next week?
Mhm.
'Kay. Yeah, what would feel good to you?
Um, hmm, I've keeping up with, like, eating my own food, like, checking myself with that habit and communicating. So communicating my needs and sticking to my routine. Um, and what else? I think I wanna keep doing the no makeup,
Mhm.
and I think actually, like, showing up for myself and, like, with going to the gym. I think that's one goal that I really want to do. even if I like it's taking some work for me to wake up and do yoga in the morning. It's been quite a challenge. So I kind of want to start with like the gym, like at least 3 times a week. I feel like maybe getting my like strength up, feeling good moving my body will make like also help kind of kickstart wanting to move earlier in the day, do like some yoga, you know. I feel like I just haven't even moved, you know, and worked out in my home or like working, you know. I go on walks and hikes and stuff like that, but literally like moving my body in like a yoga way or working out is like difficult because I haven't moved that way in so long. So it's not like comfortable. It's like you get sore and stuff. So I think going to the gym and kind of easing into a workout routine and moving my body will help. Is kind of the first step into doing something more movement each day. So that's my goal this week.
Perfect. Yeah, those 3 action plans of eating your own food and communicating your needs, the no makeup, and then showing up for yourself by going to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you need any accountability around that? Or do you feel pretty
I
good
feel
about
pretty good. I have my friend and my family it's here visiting. They like to go to the gym. So that's really helpful too because we go together
it?
and my friend's kind of my accountability person as far as gym goes. We kind of push each other. So that's kind of an easy like I have accountability there. Which is good. And I think the other things are okay. I don't think I need like like a reminder or a I don't know. I think I'll be able to do it just fine, I think.
Okay, that's perfect. And last thing, what would you like to acknowledge yourself for?
For communicating my needs yesterday and checking myself after kind of the habit overtook of just going with the flow. And I went back and I said, because they're cooking like a couple of meals that they were shopping for, and I was like, I'm gonna do these tortillas instead. And like I just made accommodations for what I would eat. So I saw that habit happen. I thought about it, didn't feel good. And then I went back and communicated and then physically went to the store with them and bought things together. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. I acknowledge you for that too, communicating your
Thank
needs.
you. Mhm.
That's so good. And I know like we're talking about food, but I feel like that's gonna trickle into so many other things.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
so
so.
good. Well, I'll text you your mini tech summary and let me know if
Perfect.
you need anything. If you need
Okay.
anything, feel free to text me. Sorry we went a few minutes over.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Cool. I will see you next week. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, but I can probably
Alrighty.
next week.
Bye.